सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। Hari Om, salutations to all. So we saw that the five koshas are negated, and it was said Atma is other than the five koshas, Sakshi of the three states, self-effulgent of the nature of pure bliss, and this has to be known by the wise person, by oneself. So the disciple has a doubt. In 212 we saw that the disciple says that when we negate all the five sheets as a illusion, sarva bhavam vina kinchan na pashyam yatra he guru. One finds that there is a absence. It is a blank. It is a zero. Because nothing exists there. Vijnayam kimu vastu asti swatmana atmavipashchita. Then how should one realize this oneness with the Atman? Meaning the ultimate state is a blank, it is not the state of Atma. Shunya. One of the schools of Buddhism is also Shunyavada. So Shankaracharya ji has picked this up because this is a natural doubt anyone will have. That if we negate everything, all the five koshas, our identity right now is from these five. If we negate all the five, then what remains? Nothing remains. So is the final state an absence of everything? Is the final state a state of blank? Because many strive to attain this state, even in meditation. One wants to become blank, just thoughtless. So that's the question here, that what is that ultimate state? If the ultimate state is a blank, then you have just said earlier that Swayam Jyoti, Sadananda, these are the Swarupa Lakshan of the Atma, and the wise man should know this as one's own true self, but the Buddhi is not there to know. There is no Jiva. So then what is that state? It's an absence. So now let us see what the teacher answers here. Shri Guru Ruvacha. This is verse 213. Satyamuktam tvaya vidvan nipunosi vicharane ahamadi vikaraste tadabhavoyam apyano. So we say sarve yena anubhuyante yasvayam na anubhuyate tamatmanam veditaram vidhi buddhya susukshmaya. So the teacher says satyamuktam tvaya vidvan. O wise man, O great scholar, you have said rightly. Nipunosi vicharane, you are an expert in thinking. You have come to this conclusion by your own thinking, that if everything is negated, then what remains? It may be a state of blank or absence ultimately. So now see, when he says Satyam Uktam Tvaya Vidwan, doesn't mean that the Guru is approving that yes, the ultimate state is a blank. He says it's an approval of the question, that a natural question like this will arise in anybody's mind who has thought properly, will come to that point that what is that ultimate state. If you remember, one of the earlier qualifications was in the fourfold qualifications, the third qualification is Shatka Sampatti. In that Shatka Sampatti, one qualification is Shraddha. So this Shraddha is required because when we transcend the body, mind, intellect, what is that state? That there is a state which is the Atma. I have to know that. As of now, I'm not clear about it. So the Shastra is saying it, the Guru is saying it. And through my own thinking, I have to understand, yes, there is that state. And hence here, the doubt that is there is a natural doubt, because at any time this doubt keeps coming. Until one doesn't come to have proper clarity on it, as well as definitely the experiential knowledge, then that goes away. But till then, it will keep coming. Is there something really beyond the BMI? Or maybe it is just absence which is being called in so many ways. So there is the big difference. If we say that everything is negated and the ultimate state is only an absence of everything, that is this Shunyavad. But Vedanta says no, ultimate state is not a blank. Ultimate state is a state which is independent, which actually enlivens everything, on which everything else is dependent. On Shunya or on a blank, nothing is dependent. But here is the state which is the substratum of the whole universe, which is the enlivener of our own body, mind and intellect. So it is a positive state. Again, the word positive, don't take it in context of the mind, positive and negative. Meaning it is not an absence, it is a presence. And it is that presence because of which everything else functions. So Satyamuktam Tvaya Vidwan is about the question, about the doubt. Nipunosi Vicharane, you have come to this by your own logical thinking. Because if logically one thinks, this doubt will come. That what is that ultimate state? Because when one starts even contemplating, one may find what is there. I've negated everything, now nothing exists. Hence he says, Nipunosi Vicharane. Ahamadi Vikaraste Tad Abhavo Ayam Api Anu. All the modifications of Aham, Adi means the five koshas. Aham Adi Vikaraste. So the ego, intellect, mind, prana, body. These are the vikaras, modifications of Prakriti. And tad abhavo api. And these are absent in the deep sleep. In the waking and dream, these exist. From the body to the ego, all the modifications. And in the deep sleep, they become unmanifest. Tad abhavo api anu. All these, sarve yena anubhuyante. All these are experienced because of whom? Because we saw earlier, these are modifications of Prakriti. That's why they are called Vikara. So all these are constantly changing. They are inert. But what is that which gives them sentiency or that life? Sarve yena anubhuyante. Yas swayam na anubhuyate. And which never becomes the object of experience. Meaning, What is that because of which all experiences we have, but which never becomes an object of experience? Tam Atmanam Veditaram. Know that Atma, which is the knower. So, what is important to know is that there is a knower in me which knows the vikaras, the modifications of from Atma, from Aham to body, and of course the world outside. All these modifications that it goes through, every moment our self-esteem, our identity goes through change. Who knows that change? Is that Atma. And who knows that in the deep sleep, all the changes of the from Ahankar till the body, everything that changes, it is all dormant. So the ultimate state is not the state of blank. Ultimate state is the state of knowing. It is jnana. It is, that's why earlier it was said, Swayam Jyoti. It is self-illumining state. For example, the first person who logs in here into this Zoom call, what does that first person say? Nobody has come. To say that there is nobody, one entity is required or not? How will a person know? How will one know blank? Who is the blank? What is blank? Is known by whom? When we say we have negated all the identification with the Panchakoshas, our ultimate state is a blank. Who knows that? The knower who knows the presence and absence of everything, that knower exists. So how is it a blank or a shunya? Otherwise, how will the person know? Ultimate state is a blank, has to be known by somebody. And that knower is not the Mr. So-and-so, that small entity. Then who is that? That is the Atma, which when identified with the BMI is appearing as the Ahamkara, as the Jiva, as Mr. So-and-so. But when that identification is gone, the Atma still remains. It is like the, further that example will come, like the sun and the reflection in the water. The reflection of the sun in the water is not independent. Reflection of the sun in the water is the sun up there which is reflecting down in the water. If you remove the water, sun doesn't go away anywhere. Sun doesn't get destroyed. It is that sun only which was appearing as the reflection. The reflection as though went back to the sun. Meaning the sun is realized as independent of all these. In the same way, tam atmanam veditaram. Know that Atma as the knower. Who is the observer? In language of metaphysics or quantum physics, you say observer. Who is the observer? The ultimate observer. That's the point. The ultimate observer. There is an observer in me who observes everything, and there is an ultimate observer. Both are the same. Then what is the difference? Observer keeps on observing, but when the observed vanishes, observer also vanishes, but the ultimate observer remains, who is watching this observer, watching everything else. Meaning there is one ahankara in me which goes on doing things, which goes on watching many things. When I withdraw from everything, including this ahankar, the ahankar also goes. Observer observed, the duality gone. What remains? The ultimate observer only remains. Which is what Vedanta is also saying. Tam atmanam veditaram. That Atma is the knower, the ultimate knower. Vidhi buddhya susukshmaya. And how will you know this? Through a subtle intellect. So this is to be known not just as a theory, as a logical conclusion, that how will a state be known without the knower existing? Who knows the absence of everything? Who knows that there is a blank? There has to be a knower. And so if the knower is there, that knower is self-effulgent. So it's not a state of blank. One is to know this logically, and the other is to actually withdraw the attention in contemplation, sit quietly, withdraw from the world outside, body, prana, mind, intellect, ego, and then realize my nature is pure consciousness. Ultimate state is not a blank. So that's why that requires sukshma buddhi. Buddhya, he says here, vidhi buddhya susukshmaya. This is taken from the Upanishads. Shankaracharya is not telling directly on his own. Kathopanishad says, Drishyate tu agriyaya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadarshibhi. This Atma is realized by those who have agra buddhi, a sharp intellect, and sukshma buddhi. Sukshmaya, it is known. Agriyaya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmaya buddhi. Subtle intellect. So, having said this, a person who has thought through, actually in this one answer, in this one verse, the answer is already given. That yes, the ultimate state is not a blank, because the knower exists, like the deep sleep example. There is nothing. How do we know there is nothing? There is the entity who is illumining that nothing. That entity is the Atma. See, about this Sukshma Buddhi, Gurudev has written a very nice, simple example, but very easy to understand how the Buddhi becomes subtler and subtler. So, in the commentary, in the third last paragraph, from bottom, come to the third paragraph, where he says, with the gross intellect, we see gross things. Grosser the intellect, grosser the vision. Our intellect at this moment is so gross, so full of sensuality, that we no more see a woman going along, we only see lust moving on legs. When the mind is made a little subtle, you see beauty going. A little more subtle and you see a living being. Make it as subtle as that of a philosopher's and you will see divinity on the move. So this is the progress. This is one example. How to change the vision and make the buddhi more and more subtler. And this doesn't happen only through knowledge. Along with knowledge, the vasana pressure must be reduced. And the quality of vasana must be changed. So that's the next paragraph. How do we make our intellect subtle? Subtle intellect means that intellect which is not running headlong to crash into sense objects. That intellect which is not functioning under the pressure of its vasanas. The intellect which is fully redeemed from their deadening pressures is a subtle intellect. Vasanas are removed through dedicated activity, nishkama karma. So that's the means. How to purify the buddhi, how to make it subtle? Through karma yoga, by dedicated action dedicated to the Lord, and with the vision that I want to realize the self. As the person keeps acting, it becomes purified, becomes subtle. Now going ahead, he explains, Tat sakshikam bhavet tattad yadyadyenanubhuyate kasyapyananubhutarthe sakshitvam nopayujyate. Tat sakshikam bhavet. Tad yad yena anubhuyate. That is called as a sakshi when there is something else to be witnessed. So as long as there is something to see, to witness, there are two, the witnessed and the witness. Kasya api ananubhutarthe sakshitvam na upayujyate. When there is nothing to witness, there is no witnesshood also. So this is that's what I was saying is the ultimate observer. So There is a witness which is consciousness reflecting in the pure and subtle intellect, which assumes the identity of a witness. So the identity of the witness is I am the Sakshi, so I don't get affected or attached to anything that is happening around. So the definition of a Sakshi is that Sakshat Ikshate, that which sees directly without getting involved. Uninvolved, unaffected observer is a Sakshi. So when the Sakshi is observing the changes in the Aham, in the Vijnanamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Annamaya Kosha, in the world outside, there is a witnessed. So as long as there is something to witness, this Sakshi reflecting in the pure Buddhi, Sukshma Buddhi, is observing all these changes. So one part of me is observing whatever is happening within and without. When through proper understanding as well as through contemplation, the attention from the witnessed is withdrawn, and there is nothing to witness anymore because the attention of the mind is fully withdrawn. Now please see, this is not a logical thinking alone. This is a process. In contemplation, I am sitting and I am withdrawn the attention step by step. One will be able to drop. See, at a point, as one progresses in contemplation, the feel of each of these things which is so real starts vanishing. One is not aware of the world around at all. The body itself one is not aware of. As we do the relaxation process, as we withdraw the attention from the body to the breath, the body is existing, but one is not aware of it as a tangible, solid entity, which is right now the experience when I am not withdrawing, when the attention is outside. So as the attention goes, is withdrawn slowly, 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 this body, the breath, then the feelings, emotions, and then the thoughts, all are understood to be just unreal. The attention is withdrawn completely, even from this I, then there is nothing to witness. So this relationship of the witnessed and the witness is there as long as there is a witnessed. When the witnessed attention is withdrawn from the witnessed, the attitude that I am a Sakshi also goes. That is the ultimate knower, the ultimate observer. Please remember, the ultimate observer and the witness are not two different entities. It is not that there is some other observer who is observing this witness and witness is observing all this. No, no, no. The ultimate observer, like the sun up there and the water down, the reflection in the water down. The reflection and the sun are not different. It's the same sun appearing as the reflection. Of course, that example has a limitation. In this context, the Atma is reflecting in the Sukshma Buddhi as the witness. And the same Atma is identifying with the EMI and having the bhava of Jiva. So this Sakshi is observing the Jiva and the body, mind, intellect's modifications. But when the Sakshi has withdrawn, when the attention is withdrawn from all these, there is nothing to witness. The Sakshi Bhava also goes. That state is not a blank, because the Atma, which is appearing as the Sakshi as well as all these, that remains. That's what he says. Kasyapi ananubhutarte sakshitvam na upayujyate. If the earlier verse, I elaborated on the earlier verse, this concept of ultimate observer, but in this earlier verse, it is the Sakshi which is explained. Atmanam veditaram vidhi buddhya susukshmaya. That is the Sakshi. And now he says Sakshi also doesn't exist. But remember, that state is not a blank. That is the state of the Atma, pure consciousness. So again, if you see, Gurudev's commentary, the second last para, this he explains very clearly. We can say a thing is a witness only when it is experiencing something. But when there is no experiences at all, the Atman cannot even be called as a Sakshi. A witness is with reference to some definite sets of experiences in the realm of world consciousness. When it is having the experience within and without, it can be called as a witness. Now remember, having experience meaning is observing, is not involved and going through it. Then it can be a witness of things happening. But when all the happenings are removed, there cannot be any witnesshood. The witness itself becomes the reality. So this knower is the ultimate reality. Just the identification with the equipments has been withdrawn completely, then the realization happens. So this he goes on to elaborate again ahead. Asau svasakshiko bhavaha yatasvenanubhuyate atapparam swayam sakshat pratyagatmana chetaraha. Asau svasakshiko bhavaha. This witness is aware of itself. So somebody may ask that question, that if the witness is witnessing everything and when the witness disappears, there is no witnessing also, the Sakshi is not there, then who knows the ultimate reality? Now if we say that there is some other entity who knows this ultimate reality, then one will ask you, who is that entity? Who knows that entity? So this is going in a infinite regress. That's why the ultimate observer knows itself, is self-effulgent. So here it is said Swasakshiko. The same doubt we have in terms of existence. This is in terms of witness and consciousness. In terms of existence, when we say who created the world, then we say God created the world. Now the person asks, who created God? Now you can't say God's father created God. Then you say who created God's father? God's grandfather. It can't go. It will go into an ultimate infinite regress. So the ultimate cause is self-existing, self-illumining, self-bliss. The Sat Chit Anand is not created. Because if it is created, it is not infinite. It will perish, it will change. It has to be self-existent at all times. And so here it is. Asau svasakshiko bhavaha. Atma knows itself, is a witness of itself. Nobody else knows it. Yata svena anubhuyate. And it is experienced by a person, by oneself. Atap param swayam sakshat. And hence this Atma itself is the supreme. Pratyagatma na chetaraha. That is the self within. There is nothing else. The self in me is the Param, is Brahman. There is no other absolute truth other than this Brahman. And this Brahman reflecting in this equipment is what I have mistaken to be the Jiva. That's why Gurudev gave us the beautiful equation. God plus ego is equal to man. God, forgetful of his nature, identifying with one equipment, which is the man, which is the ego, becomes this one individual, man. And how will man realize this divinity? Man minus ego is equal to God. So this Atma is not an object of knowledge. This Atma is not a blank. This Atma is not produced. It is self-effulgent and it is infinite, it is supreme. There is no other knower of this. Now when this is said, who realizes the self is the question. Now see, the answer can be given to that question that self realizes the self, because that's what is the verse saying here. Asau swa sakshiko bhava yata svena anubhuyate. Self realizes self by itself. In the Gita also Bhagavan says in Sthita Prajna Lakshan, Atmani eva atmana tushtaha. Abiding in the self by the self. Sthita Prajna sadochyate. So if the question is asked, who realizes the self? Because the Jiva, Mr. So and so, was putting all the effort so far. Now the attention is withdrawn from that Mr. So and so. So who realized the self? The point is, the question also has an assumption that there are two distinct entities. The knower is the seeker is the Jiva, who now wants to realize the self. Now the question has an assumption of difference, that this Jiva is different, this Atma is different. Now Jiva has to know this Atma. That's the fundamental flaw in that thinking. It is the Atma appearing as the Jiva. There are no two entities. Waker is appearing as the dreamer. There is only one entity. If you ask the question, who woke up and realized? Now the dream character did not wake up. Dream character is lost, gone. Waker woke up and realized himself that I am the waker. That's the example one can explain like that. Here to say that the self realized itself is a explanation given to the student to make the student understand, but otherwise it is very absurd. How will the self realize itself? It is always knowing itself. See, in the waking and dream example, at least the waker has forgotten himself and gone into that state of dream and the dream character. So there is a process of again waking up and then getting back the identity. That's the example of the limitation of the example. Here, there is nothing like that which has happened. Atma knows itself at all times. That's why it was said Swayam Jyoti. It is self-effulgent. It is Jnana Swarup. It is not that after withdrawing this whole thing, the attention from the Panchakoshas, then Atma realizes itself. Atma is self-effulgent. It knows itself at all times, even right now, when there is this so-called false identification. So at one level one can say Svena Anubhuyate. Atma knows by itself, experiences itself by itself. But at a deeper level we have to understand that this Atma always knows itself. It is not that Atma is now knowing. So if we say who realized the self, we say self realized the self. But the deeper understanding is self was never not realized. Self was never ignorant. Then what happened? Nothing happened. That's the state. The ultimate state is where nothing has happened. The rope has never become the snake. It is not that now that when I have the vision of the rope, the snake has merged into the rope and now the snake has become the rope, or the rope is existing now. Earlier it was not. No. Rope was always the rope. Nothing happened. It never became the snake. It was, is, will be only the rope. Atma was, is and will be. This Panchakosha, this entire world, it is a superimposition. When superimposition ends, the reality reveals. The reality always was there and it was the reality only appearing as a superimposition. So this is the standpoint of Vedanta. And when that is understood, Atah param swayam sakshat pratyagatma na chetaraha. The Atma in me. So then the Jivan Mukta who has realized the truth. For the Jivan Mukta, there is nothing existing except the Atma. But for you and I, there is a body of the Jivan Mukta because we are identified with the body, so we see the body. We see the Jivan Mukta working also. How does the Jivan Mukta function? So that it is said the self in me is the self in all. So Atah param swayam sakshat. This self in me is not one small little self. It is the infinite reality which is the same in all. Atah param swayam sakshat pratyagatma na chetara. There's nothing else except this pure consciousness. So this is the realization. This becomes very clear in the last para of Gurudev, what I just explained, and we went one step ahead after that. To say that this Atma knows itself is a explanation given. But we should remember that Atma does not come to know itself only at this point. Atma knows itself at all times. Now moving ahead. Jagrat swapna sushuptishu sfutataram yosau samujrumbhate pratyagrupataya sadahamahamiti antasfurannaikadha nanakara vikara bhagina iman pashyannaham dhimukhan nityananda chidatmana sfuratitam vidhi swametam hridi. So what does he say here? Jagrat swapna sushuptishu sfutataram yo asau vijrumbhate yo asau sam ujrumbhate. Where is this consciousness experienced? So many people say that I don't know God. Does God even exist? Is there something called consciousness? Vedanta says every minute that is what is expressing. Where is the rope if one asks? Every moment the rope is only expressing as the snake. Every moment the waker is only expressing as the dreamer, the dream character, the dream world and everything happening inside. Where else will we search? So Jagrat Swapna Sushuptishu Sfutataram. So clearly it is manifesting in waking dream deep sleep. Yo asau samudrumbhate. Pratyag Rupataya, and which is experienced in our own heart. Pratyag means within. How? Aham iti antasfuran. I am. Every single moment it is as though throbbing in our own heart as aham. We feel the presence. How can that presence become an absence? It is not possible. How will this aham become zero? I am not. I am will not become I am not. So it can never be shunya. Ultimate reality can never be a blank. It will always be a conscious presence of aham. Even when the attention is withdrawn, it will be a presence only. And even when the attention is on the equipment, expressing through the states, it is aham, pure I. So pratyag rupataya aham iti antasfuran ekadha. Nana kara vikara bhagina iman pashyan aham dhi mukhan. And what is this pure I doing? This pure I is only manifesting in various ways as I am Mr. So-and-so, I am tall, I am dark, I am young, I am thin, I am fat, I am ugly, I am beautiful, all Nana, Kara, Vikara, and all the modifications of this equipment. Pure I is Pashyan, is seeing all these modifications, is the witness. Nityananda Chidatmana Sfuratitam. And what is the nature of this pure I? Nityananda, pure bliss, Chidatmana, pure consciousness. Surati, it is there in our heart. Tam vidhi swametam. Know this Atman in your own heart, Vriddhi, as your own self. So this withdrawal doesn't lead to a state of blank. This withdrawal helps me to understand that the consciousness is in my own heart and that is only expressing in the world outside. That is only making me go through waking dream deep sleep. There is no other consciousness somewhere out there. Hence, in Vedanta, we always say, go within, dive within, to realize the self. Aham, 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 aham. Ramana Maharshi said beautifully in Upadesh Sar, aham inasha bhaji, aham aham taya, sfurati hrit, sfurati hrit swayam, parama purna sat. Same points here. Aham inasha bhaji. When this small I completely is dissolved, then what is the ultimate state? Not a blank. Sfurati hrit swayam. Aham aham taya. As I. Right now, this I is not experienced exclusively. It is experienced through the equipment. Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. Which is the Nana Akara Vibhagina Iman. Which is all the different identities we take up. When those identities one is withdrawn from and that is dissolved in that state of contemplation, then what happens? Sfurati hrit swayam, aham aham taya. And what is the nature of that aham? Param purna sat. Complete, pure existence, fullness. Which is what it says here. Nitya ananda chidatmana sfurati. So as students of Vedanta, we should remember the ultimate state is not a blank. Ultimate state is pure consciousness, pure bliss. And what is the proof of that? The proof of that is this existence itself of mind. Realized masters have experienced an absolute state. They are a living proof of it. That is one method. But I also am experiencing every moment. Each of us is experiencing what? The Mr. So-and-so, this entity which is going through Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti is nothing but this pure consciousness. So we don't need any other extra proof. If you remember Tattva Bodh, when the three states are described, what is said in that? Atma identified with the waking state is called Vishwa. Atma identified with the dream state is called Tejas. Atma identified with the deep sleep is called Prajna. Who is this Vishwa Tejas Prajna? Is Atma only. Like one individual takes up the role of a son, of a father, of a spouse, of a friend. The individual is one, taking up these four roles. As long as the individual is playing those roles with those people, he is called the son or the father or the spouse or a friend. But when that individual is not playing those roles, then who is that individual? Does that individual become non-existent? No. That individual is existing in spite of these roles. These roles depend on this individual. In the same way, this pure consciousness by itself is self-effulgent, pure bliss, infinite, and is in the hearts of all. Same reality pervading everywhere. Now, when the identification is there with the equipment, then same pure consciousness takes up the identity, Vishwa, Tejas, Prajna. So the waker entity is known as Mr. So-and-so. Dream, we go through different entities. Deep sleep, we withdraw from both these, but observe the absence of everything. So Vishwa, Tejas, Prajna. And who is the Vishwa, Tejas, Prajna? Is Atma only. Hence it is, these are all different ways by which he is explaining that ultimate reality is not a blank at all. And it is not that when we withdraw the attention, then we will realize pure consciousness as something else. No, pure consciousness alone is manifesting even right now as this entity, Mr. So-and-so. So there are no two, there is only one. The beauty of Advaita Vedanta is not just the ultimate reality is one. Even in the delusory state, it is only one. One appearing as two. Consciousness appearing as the Jiva. When a person withdraws the attention from the Jiva Bhava and every other equipment, then one realizes Atma. But intellectually one should know very clearly that even right now this Mr. So and so is not a separate entity. There is no jiva separate from consciousness. This consciousness only is manifesting as the jiva. So there's no two. There's only one all the time. Even when the rope is manifesting as the snake, it is only the rope appearing as the snake. There's no separate snake. The other schools of philosophy will not accept that. There it is separate, existing separately. Here it is, that's why this is called Vivartavada. The substratum appearing as a superimposition is only one. Now he gives the example of the sun and the reflection. Ghatodake bimbatamarka bimba. Sorry. Ghatodake bimbatamarka bimbam alokya mudhora vimeva manyate tatha chidabhasa mupadhi samstham bhrantya hamityeva jadobhimanyate. So now he says Ghata Udake, in the water in the pot, Bimbitam, Bimba means reflection. Arka Bimba, the sun is reflecting in the water in the pot. Alokya Mudho, Ravimeva Manyate, a deluded person looks at that reflection and thinks that to be the sun. Tatha Chidabhasam Upadhi Samstham. In the same way, Chidabhas. Now, remember we have done this earlier. What is Chidabhas? Pure consciousness reflecting in the subtle body, that reflection, that Mr. So-and-so, that Jiva is called Chidabhas. Tatha Chidabhasam Upadhi Samstham. This consciousness identified with the Upadhi is the Chidabhas. Bhrantya ahamityeva jadobhimanyate. And the deluded one thinks that this jiva is that consciousness. And doesn't think that the jiva is only an appearance of the real consciousness. That there is a consciousness which is identifying with the equipment and this appearance of the Chidabhas is there. What does this mean? We don't think of it in these terms. This is given in Vedantic terms. That consciousness identifying with the equipment is called Chidabhas, but that Chidabhas is not equal to consciousness. Chidabhas is consciousness identifying with the BMI. If you remove the identification, pure consciousness. How do we experience it? This one. We experience this, that the body, mind, intellect are functioning on their own. There is nothing called consciousness. We want proof of consciousness. Because we think that BMI is anyway functioning on its own. It is on an autopilot mode. It is not autopilot mode. Consciousness is that which is enlivening this BMI. And this Chidabhas which is formed, that goes on changing. So Chidabhas is not a pure consciousness, just like the reflection is not the sun. But remember, without reflection, without the sun, there is no reflection. This is not to deny that consciousness exists independently. This is not to even to deny that Chidabhasa is appearance of consciousness only. This is to have the clarity that if I think Chidabhas is consciousness, then I have rejected existence of consciousness independent, which is what we have done. Because the equipment is functioning well, we think that the equipment is having its own ability. Eyes can see on their own, ears can hear on their own, mind can feel on its own, intellect can think on its own. Where there is a need for anything else, so which God, what consciousness, out. That's the practical implication of this. That's how one lives. But what is Vedanta saying? Arey, that BMI is Jada. In Upanishad, that's the question of the student. The student is asking that question. What is that prompted by which? Keneshitam patati preshitam manahad. Prompted by which this mind is thinking. Prompted by which the prana is functioning. prompted by which the speech can speak. Chakshu Shrotram Kaudevo Yunakti. What is that which is illumining my eyes and my ears? So there is a consciousness which is enlivening, which when identified with the buddhi becomes this Chidabhas, Mr. So and so, which further identifies with the mind and the body, and then this entity is formed, Mr. So and so of the waking state. And there is a Sakshi which is observing all these changes. All these are who? These are pure consciousness only. So if somebody thinks that there is the sun is equal to the reflection, no. The reflection depends on the sun. Sun doesn't depend on reflection. Atma appears as Chidabhas. Chidabhas is dependent on the Atma. But Chidabhas is not independent. Atma is independent. So when one understands that very clearly, then what will one do? Just like the reflection is not the sun, one takes the attention away from the reflection and looks up. Then one sees, oh, that is the sun. So the bucket is the body, water is the mind and intellect, consciousness is the sun, consciousness reflecting in the water is the Chidabhas, is the reflection of the sun, is the ego, Mr. So and so. When I withdraw the attention from the body, from the mind and intellect, and from the ego, I look up. Then I realize the absolute truth. I realize the sun. So the changes are in the Chidabhas. This consciousness reflecting in the buddhi is what is split into two. The witness which watches all the changes of the Chidabhas, of the ego. So from Chidabhas to witness, from witness to self journey. That's our journey. Because when there is nothing to witness, the witnesshood will drop by itself. Atma remains. So that example is now concluded here. Ghatam jalam tad gatamarka bimbam vihaya sarvam vinirikshate kaha tatastha etat tritayava bhasakaha swayam prakasho vidusha yatha tatha. So ghatam jalam tad gata arka bimbam vihaya. One has to drop what? The pot, meaning identification with the body. Jalam, meaning mind, intellect. And Tadgata Arka Bimbam, and the reflection in it, which is Chidabhas, Vihaya Sarvam. If all this is dropped, meaning identification with all this is withdrawn, that I am not this, not this, not this, Vinirikshate Arkaha. Then a person sees the sun, meaning one realizes pure consciousness. Tatastha etat tritaya avabhasakaha. So the wise person sees this truth, absolute truth, which is illumining the three. What are the three? Body, the subtle body, mind and intellect, and Chidabhas, the ego. Swaprakash, Swayam Prakasho Vidusha Yatha Tatha. That this ultimate reality is what? It is self-effulgent. The sun is shining on its own. The water and the reflection required the sun. They are dependent on the sun. Sun shines on its own. The sun doesn't require any other source of power. It is Swayam Prakasha. In the same way, Atma is that which is Swayam Prakasha. It is self-effulgent, pure consciousness. So for today, we will stop here. Any questions, any doubts?
So it means that pure consciousness becomes observer, not becomes, but it is realized as observer in relation with the body, mind and intellect. If we negate body, mind and intellect, then observer disappears and what remains is only pure consciousness.
Correct.
Okay. Namaste Swamiji. Yeah, I just wanted to know. So Vedanta asks us to follow Nirvikalpa Jnanam, not Nirvikalpa Samadhi. That is not what it is promoting.
So what is the difference in both these in your understanding?
Samadhi comes and goes, but Nirvikalpa Jnanam is more permanent.
Yeah, so as a state, definitely Samadhi is not the ultimate state. Nirvikalpa Samadhi leads to Sahaj Samadhi, which is abidance in the knowledge, correct? Where then there is no coming and going.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Harim Swamiji,
Hanji.
in 216 verse, we have said that God plus ego equal to man and man minus ego equal to God. There where you said three things about the Atma, that Atma is not the object of knowledge, and then other two things I just missed out.
What did I say? Three things?
About the Atma, that Atma is not an object of knowledge, and then what three things you said?
Hari Om Swamiji, I think
I said it is not a blank.
what she's trying,
Yeah, please continue.
Vishwa, Tejas and Pragya. I think she's saying that.
No, Vishwa Tejas Prajna is very different. That is Atma identified with
Okay.
waking, dream and deep sleep state. See, basically Atma is not a blank,
Right.
is what I understand. Now I don't remember it. When the thoughts just flow. Now those three, what did I say? Either Atma is, one point is the whole discussion is on Atma is not the state of nothingness. I don't remember, there's three separate things. As I said, point 1, point 2, point 3. Maybe if you listen to the recording again, you will find out.
Yeah. Thank you, Swamiji.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.